Welcome, everybody, to Seattle Sports Team Podcast. My name is Abraham Dewey. I'm back in with the Nathan Savage, the Savage Nathan. And on the boards is Soul Man Brian Solak. We are through the first 4 games of the MLB Mariners season. Split. I am perplexed by this, Nathan. I feel like this could have easily been a sweep.
Yeah, I mean, it's Cleveland. Cleveland's just that funky team. I mean, last year they also won their division, right? They came back at the end and beat Detroit. They were one of the top teams. So for me, it just felt like kind of where we're at. I don't know if we're spent the money to be up there with the Blue Jays, Yankees, Dodgers, those kind of teams where it's, a lot of sweeps, games look a little bit easier. I think we're just going to have to grind it out a lot. And for me, I was actually really happy with the split. I think Cleveland is underrated on how good they are, just like the Mariners kind of would hang around under the radar. And it was fun to watch them on national TV as well. I think people are giving the Mariners a lot of attention. So
you are right. It's not like they're a bunch of slappies. Let's get to the television thing in a minute here. I just want to say I'm kind of done with Chase DeLautner. Like, can we not see him? This rookie, this guy who I think he's only played in the off season. Like, he's never played a regular season game until this year.
Yeah.
And he lights us up for 4 months. Never heard of this guy.
Crazy. Yeah, the rookies. I mean, some of the, like from Japan, a couple of the guys I really wanted from Japan, like Murakami hit 3 home runs. Yeah, just we'll see what happens. I don't know, but maybe there's a little bit of a youth movement going on. But yeah, that was maybe the number one reason I was happy to get away from Cleveland. I know we're facing a guy named Judge tomorrow, sadly.
Right.
But man, I don't even think Judge will hit 4 home runs. So knock on wood. But yeah, that's crazy.
Dude, where's our heavy marine layer? I thought that was supposed to tamper down these home runs.
Yeah.
Both sides lighten it up. Hitters in front of the batters, it sounds like, yet again.
Yeah, and some funny memes were out. I think that my favorite one was the Spider-Man one with switching Cal Raleigh for Luke Riley, because he did a little bit of a Rayleigh impression himself of just, I think it was kind of guys we didn't think would be hitting the home runs. Donovan hit one. Kinzone, of course, carried us in the first game. Yeah, just
looks like Cole Young is carrying his hot streak into Seattle too.
Which is great to see too. I think what I really liked overall too, maybe a little bit of a bummer from Cal, Julio, and Naylor, but other than those guys, I just like the at-bats that we were putting up there too. Even if we weren't getting out, it felt like we were hitting the ball pretty hard. It felt like we were, pushing the counts up on the pitchers. It just feels like a very threatening lineup, and it's kind of weird because even last year, at times I didn't feel like the lineup was that threatening, but it just feels like from top to bottom we can get things going. So I do like to see that.
Is it me, or did this officiating crew have a large strike zone?
I think it's for me, it's the new. Now we're looking at, like, there was times where with the ABS, that's been probably the most fun thing for me of the weekend.
That's there's things like ABS is the instant replay.
Yeah, I think the Reds with CB Buckner got him on like 5 straight bad calls in a row. Eugenio called him out twice in a row on strikeouts. So some of the umpires, I think, are getting exposed. But I think for here, you were looking at it, it wasn't like they were missing. Really, it was more they were just by 0.1 inches hitting the zone. And I think that's kind of one of the new things with the ABS that's probably helping the pitching, is now even if it's just the very hint of the ball grazing the outside corner, you can ABS call that. So I do think overall the umps have kind of had to expand their zone, in my opinion. And I actually was really impressed by the umping. I feel like the ABS in general has made these umps look it's so unreal what they're doing out there.
I just thought Julio and Raleigh kind of got borderline calls went against him, but
no, and I think they just need to tap on their head. I think the Mariners were a little bit behind, actually, from what I saw around baseball. I think Wilson maybe saw something differently, but I don't think you want to end a game having an ABS challenge left. You want to, it sucks obviously to lose both of them, but you want to finish the game with both of those gone, I would say.
Speaking of Cal Raleigh, any concern that his 60 home run pace kind of hurt him in the stretch and the playoffs last year and is hurting him now? Like, is he trying to tee up homers when he should be like maybe just situationally aware?
I don't think so, actually. In terms of that side of things, I think he's just being Cal for me. He had a double again today. He's getting on base still. I just think the expectations for him to hit 60 are pretty unrealistic. I was looking at 40 being a good season for him, or really a great season for him. So for me, the biggest bummer with Cal has actually been his body language. I don't know what's going on. I don't know if it's like left over from what was going on in the WBC with the Rosarena or what, but he is, I don't think I've seen him smile one time this whole start to the season. And something definitely feels off to me. I saw an article about it as well, but something's a little bit off in his body language. So maybe it's just, he didn't get a single hit in the WBC, starting slow now. Maybe he's just trying to grind something out. But that's been the biggest bummer with me is I still really like what he's doing at the plate, but his body language just seemed definitely off to me. Yeah.
But the Julio thing, by the way, doesn't surprise me. He doesn't start until
Yeah.
late May,
No
right? So,
surprises. Yeah.
but the Raleigh thing or Cal Raleigh thing is a little bit concerning. Yeah, Josh Naylor, when his brother out hits him this weekend, that's got to be concerned.
Yeah, and that was also in the WBC. He struggled in the WBC as well. So maybe some of these guys just got their off-season routine kind of mixed up. Maybe they rely more on spring training than we know of, and the WBC kind of messed them up. But yeah, I think I'm not too worried about Naylor. I think he was so good when he first came to the Mariners, and then he tailed off a little bit. I think he's somewhere in the middle there. I think he's just going to be a great first baseman for us, but he won't be a world beater, I would say. I think he's just going to be a solid player.
So I'm being called out. There's a message here. Something about the AVS data. What the heck is the AVS?
I think he'd say ABS. Yeah.
Okay, that the instant replay. God, guys, enough with acronyms. I work at Boeing. You think like we can get away from acronyms for 5 seconds around here? Okay, let's see. Frequently, I don't know what any of this message is.
Yeah.
I'm assuming it's saying that that the instant replay is better than we think it is. I'm not against the instant replay. I'm just saying I thought the umpiring crew called outside pitches, and it has strikes when they weren't. But part of that's framing too. I was wondering if like framing was going to go away. Framing, of course, being when a catcher tries to sneak a ball into the strike zone. But I saw quite a bit of that this whole weekend from all the games, not just the Mariner games, but all around. So that's still being pursued. So it's good
Yeah.
to see that.
Yeah, I'm excited because like Alejandro Kirk for the Blue Jays,
Blue
one of the
Jays.
best. He still was on it. I was watching a few of those games. But
Mhm.
also what I really liked is like I think I saw a game where there was like 3.5 runs of value were added on their like a 33% win percentage increase on their correct. They got 5 correct ABS challenges, and that's very interesting to me. That's a new kind of statistics that's going to start showing up. Some of these guys who are really good at challenging the umpire and knowing their strike zone really well, it adds a ton of value if that would have been a strikeout ends up being a walk or ends up being a hit. Keeps the Congo line moving, and then you go up a couple runs. So I've been actually loving the ABS. I don't know what it's going to look like in the postseason and things like that, but I think it's just something really fresh and new, and I think it keeps the umpires honest. And I think it brings value to, we always talk about having a good eye in baseball. I think it brings value to those guys who know really where the strike zone is and are confident about it and will challenge it and get their team in positions to win the game more often.
Right on. I took a look at the Netflix game. Somebody I know has Netflix, and this was the Yankees opener, right?
Yeah.
Utter disaster, in my opinion. Like just the nonsense people that don't know anything about baseball yakking on that drove me nuts. I did not get to watch the Apple or tonight's Peacock game. I had to watch like highlights. But did you get to consume any of those? Any thoughts about their broadcasts?
Yeah, I mean, I think the Netflix one, I mean, like the first ABS ever in the history of baseball was missed because they were interviewing the coach in the dugout. Like
Yeah.
That's just brutal. I didn't notice too many of the technical side of things. I know I really liked what Peacock did today. I mean, they're trying to do Sunday night football with baseball. I don't think that's going to work fully. They had the full, I don't know who it was doing the Carrie Underwood opening song, but that might not work. But I think one of the best things that these
Okay, so there was Carrie Underwood. So it felt kind of like Sunday Night Football or something.
Yeah, it was like Breaking Benjamin though, or some other rock band, but they were totally
Okay.
doing the intro and the the pyrotechnics behind them and doing the getting ready for Sunday night baseball, everyone's ready for Sunday night, whatever that stuff. So I don't know what that's gonna look like, but I really like they had Ryan Roland Smith on as the color guy.
Australian.
Yeah, and just some great conversations, talking about his mom knowing what DFAing meant because he'd been dropped down so many times in his career, and just some great combo. And I think that's a key for me. I think some of these networks trying to get into baseball and streaming services, they should just go grab Aaron Goldschmidt and then throw whoever they want as the color guy, or grab their commentator and then have Roland Smith, Buhner, whoever they want as their color guy, and do that more with these. I think that really brings in the kind of team atmosphere of baseball and the city atmosphere. And I loved what actually Peacock and NBC did doing that. And that made the game for me, where it's
So
just
I want
nice to hear Roland Smith talking the whole game.
I gotta listen to that. I've heard him on the Mariners broadcast before. It's kind of funny with the Australian accent.
Yeah, it was great.
But I bought the MLB TV for the Mariners, the in market version. Great job. I mean, technically great. The familiar voices, great. Pre-game, post-game, not so great.
Yeah, I noticed that too.
Like it's like non-existent. Guys, I mean, you're carrying over a bunch of root sports people. Just have them keep doing what they're doing. I realize Angie Metnick hasn't been physically well, so maybe it's a while before she gets back into the full swing of things. But get a real show at the beginning and get a real, even if it's just an hour. Like I think a lot of Mariner fans identify with those pre and post game shows, and I don't have any numbers to back this, and I don't know if it probably would cost them a lot of money to do this, but get a pre and post game show. Like it just
Yeah. Well, I saw the game I watched on, because I got the same thing. I got the Mariners TV, and they were trying to do some post game stuff, but there was like no graphics behind them. They
no,
couldn't really show the replays properly. They were supposed to be in the locker room, but the feed went out. So then Angie had to be by herself in the dugout. Like, just weird stuff was going on. Hopefully it's just growing pains, but yeah, I would think you just bring the whole machine with you, bring everything from roots
yeah.
over. They obviously know what they're doing. They've done a good job for a while. Just
Also,
copy what's going on.
Angie is back.
Yeah, she was on. Yeah,
Okay, great.
yeah.
That's
After the I think the second game, the game they maybe it was, yeah, maybe it was the first game. I don't know. Whichever game it was though, they had Angie on, and it was okay. But I mean, they just didn't even have a background behind them for her and Brad Adam. Like, they just bare bones nothing basically. So hopefully
I
that gets sorted out.
like I said, it probably costs them a ton of money, but can you just do like I don't know, a 90-minute show, 60-minute show beforehand? Because I don't know about everybody else, but I enjoyed the little prep work there, get you buzzed up. And
I
after a
mean,
win,
just also Major League Baseball's, they're still making billions of dollars. Is it really that much money to get every team a proper
right.
pregame and postgame show? Like, geez. Yeah.
And then the post game show after a win, I just love a post game show. I tend not to listen when there's a loss.
Yeah. No, I think that's so important when you start to get to know the team, because there's so many changing parts in baseball. You want the players to be talked to. You want to hear what they have to say about the game and stuff.
So you said the Peacock broadcast was pretty good. Any thoughts on the Apple broadcast?
I mean, I've seen it in the past. I think I saw more highlights than anything with it. I think there was basketball maybe going on or other stuff, but I think those ones are okay. I honestly think baseball, they don't do that bad of a job of it. I mean, the game kind of at this point speaks for itself. I think in football you start getting some huge discrepancies based, because of all the angles you need and stuff like that. But yeah, I mean, the biggest bummer, of course, though, right, is it was Mariners TV, then Apple's TV, then Mariners TV, and then Peacock, like switching all the streaming services. But that might just be the future. But yeah,
But
that comes with people liking the Mariners too now, right? They're getting
yeah,
national attention.
when you win, you get on the national games. And yes, it kind of sucks, like you can't see all 162 games, but only 16 of those 162 are going to be on other services. Like, I know there are people who watch also 162. I don't watch all 162. Like, I have I have other, like you said, there might be football or basketball on. Like sometimes especially after today's 8-0 blowout, like, okay, we're going to go watch something else.
Yeah, and that's I think one of the best things about baseball is you can, in the morning, open up the stats and get a general pretty good idea of what happened in the game based off the stats.
Yeah, definitely. Thoughts on the pitchers this week? I mean, let's see, we didn't have Castillo, did we?
He's the 5 now. They have
He's the
Hancock. So
5 now.
Hancock
Okay.
pitched today
9
through
strikeouts, I want to say.
yeah, and 6 innings of no-hit baseball. So it does
Yeah.
not get better than that. Honestly, the whole thing kind of flipped on its head for me, where I was about to be sitting here raving and moaning and super upset about the pitching. But after that performance, the pitching looks a lot better. So, we'll see what happens. I don't know exactly why Wilson, more than anything, I just am really confused why we didn't go Woo number 1 instead of Gilbert. I don't know if something there was off, but
Gilbert
other
didn't
than
do too,
that,
Gilbert didn't do that bad. I mean,
no, but it's just more like that's your guy, right? That's your ace. It feels like
Wu does feel like the
that's the
ace, yeah,
team.
for sure.
Yeah. So
Is it kind of weird that Bryce Miller's kind of not even in the picture right now?
just
I
the
know he's
injury
injured.
though.
I know he's
Yeah,
injured,
that's been
but
his thing this whole time is he just can't stay healthy, which
he's
sucks.
been injured every year of his
Yeah.
pro career. Or,
Yeah, I wonder
I'm
if they
sorry,
move him to the bullpen or something
major.
like that. But because I don't know, it's tough. But I guess, I mean, if Hancock keeps pitching like this, then it doesn't really matter. It's all good.
Yeah. It's kind of weird that Castillo's now the 5 and he's the
Yeah.
highest paid pitcher.
Yeah, that's, I mean, I think more than anything, there are some, in terms of rearming, there are some absolute guns in the holster coming up with Anderson and Sloan. So for me, it's a bummer. I think there's just something a little bit weird to constantly throw out the same 5 every year and not try to improve that in any way. It feels like, especially for me, guys like Castillo, Gilbert, Kirby, it just to me feels like they're really fatigued. They don't have a lot of like life in their arm anymore. They've just thrown so many innings. And I guess we're just waiting for this, these new fresh arms to come in, whether it's towards the end of the year or next year with Sloan and Anderson. But I think the pitching will be what it is. It was average last year. Hopefully it's a little bit better than average, but there's nothing changed really, right? So we'll
Yeah.
see.
I mean, it was very good last year. I don't think it was average. I think where you pinpointed the problem is the bullpen. I mean, what else is
Bullpen was
Wu?
bad, but the starters supposedly, I mean, it's advanced stats, so I know that doesn't have too much sway. But from most of the metrics, the starters were considered average in terms of like runs given up and all of that. So, especially pitching at T-Mobile, where the least runs happen, it was not a bad year, but it wasn't the strength of the team last year was the hitting.
Right on. Soulman's talking something about Castillo, but looks like okay. I think Select needs a new AI filter. This one, anyway. He's not the 5th starters what Solak's trying to say, but it definitely sounds like AI wrote that for him. So I'm just gonna say like, I mean, he is the 5th starter. I don't care what that note says, but
Yeah.
it's not like that's a bad thing. I mean, if that's your 5th starter, you're in a good shape.
Yeah, that's the thing for me with this pitching is it's not so top heavy. It's not like we're sitting there with a Scooble. But if Castillo's your number 5, you can't really be that upset about it.
Yeah.
That's about as much. I think that's why the Mariners staff starting pitching is rated so highly coming into the season is because of their depth. 1 through 5, like Castillo on a lot of teams might be a 3. Hancock, if he
Exactly.
pitches like this, would be a 1 or 2, and then our everyone else is a 1 or 2. Wu, Kirby, Gilbert on most. So I think that's the depth that the Seahawks or the Mariners have that they're very lucky to have.
Yeah, and I know you don't want to rush Cade or Sloan from the minors, but if you wanted to trade Castillo halfway through the season, that's an option.
Yeah, and I think I mean, we've seen an injury already. These guys have a ton of innings on
And
their
people get
arms
injured.
lately.
Yep.
Yeah, yeah,
So it's very easy. Every Mariners pitcher has been injured, like with a
yeah,
significant injury.
yeah.
So that's yeah. Hey, so new guys. We got Brandon Donovan from the Cardinals. So do you just accept? Do you just have to accept with this guy that he's going to make an amazing foul ball catch and then overthrow first base and lose the game? Is that
Yeah,
just
I
the
don't
kind
even
of
know
guy
if that
this
was
guy
an
is?
overthrow. That was like 50 Cent throwing the first pitch where the ball just got stuck in his hand. He didn't even get close. So I think they're talking about it in the game. He's trying to get to that level at third base. He's more of a utility gold glover. He's not just a
Okay.
specifically third base gold glover. For me, that bunt was a crazy good bunt. I don't know if that was Quan or whoever that was. That was just an amazing
Quan,
bunt.
it was Stephen Quan, and he was going to
Yeah.
beat that regardless.
Yeah, that was a great bunt. So
The thought was Donovan shouldn't have thrown it.
yeah, no, and or at least take the time to throw it accurately or whatever. At least put an MLB throw on it. But I think for me that happens, and he's one of the most just immediately professional looking batters I've seen in a Mariners uniform. We always
Yeah.
talk about T-Mobile this and the weather that and all that. What happens? Oh, our supposed to be on base guy has 2 home runs already. Is carrying our offense. Has
I've
like a
been
600
complaining.
slugging or whatever it
Okay,
is.
wait a
So
minute, wait a minute, wait a minute. I've been complaining to you for years that I want a professional hitter on this team, and we finally get Naylor. We now get Donovan because I was just sick of the strikeout merchants on this team. Like, I'll put up with Raleigh striking out all the time, but I'm not going to put up with 5 guys with. What was that one year we had 3 guys with 200?
I think it was Teoscar and Eugenio kind of
That's
carrying
right.
that load. Yeah.
And Julio and
I mean,
Raleigh
Riley
were,
had
were up
a
there.
lot too. Yeah.
Yeah, it's like we can't have the whole team striking out. We
Yeah.
gotta have some mix up, like
Oh, yeah. I think, I mean, we'll see, right? It's so early. It's 4 games in. But if anything similar to what has happened so far in both spring training and the start to the year for Donovan, that's one of the best deals I've seen Dipoto make, without a doubt. Just, he's such a professional hitter, such a difference maker in the lineup. I mean, I have no idea why he was number 6 in the lineup in the second or third game. I think they're worried about his splits on righties and lefties. But even then, all of a sudden, magically, that bottom of the order came to life when he was there and was on base all the time and almost won them the game. So
right.
I've been loving him. Yeah, huge pickup.
Well, what are your thoughts coming into the Yankees series? Is this one of those where every game you win now means more at the end of the season, or is it let's just get some of our players on?
Yeah, I think one of the things Dipoto did the best was especially early in the year, just getting his bullpen arms out there. Even if you lost a couple games, whatever, not getting so tied into, oh, we have 4 good bullpen guys, that's it. I want to see more of that out of Wilson. I think that's one of his big struggles is managing the roster. I think especially on the pitching side of the ball, I want to see that improve because I just, especially in the first game, felt like we had some opportunities there if he throws Munoz out or throws other guys out. And I think, yeah, some of his decisions in the bullpen are a little bit confusing to me. I think especially early in the year, you just want to get those arms going, see what you have, because it's such a different year to year. Spear was unhittable. Like no one could hit him last year. This year in the WBC, gave up a bunch of home runs, has struggled this year to start the year. Let's see some other arms out there, see what we have. It sucks to face the Yankees early in the year. It feels like they're always the juggernaut early and then fall apart late. It seems like, that Netflix game you watch against the Giants. The Giants were supposed to be pretty good and they just, took it to them. So that sucks to play the Yankees, but I think we're playing them at home, right? And that should hopefully kind of dampen their offense a little bit.
Yeah,
We'll
we
see
are
what
playing
happens.
them home. Big thing to note is Tuesday's game is
Yeah.
on Turner.
Okay.
So,
Yeah.
but at least that should be on your cable, so people don't complain. At least you get one that comes with your TV package.
Yeah. Yeah, and I think, like you said, it's part of being successful, right? Is you get more
Yeah,
nationally
get
televised
on
games.
national TV, which
Yeah.
is, I'm so excited for that. And actually, when you sit there and think, okay, well, all this streaming is costing us a lot more, but you know what it's also doing is it's exposing you to a bigger national audience, which baseball has been terrible at. MLB has been terrible at this for, I'd say, since the 90s. Like,
Mm.
um,
For me, it's forever.
yeah.
Once it went off radio, they've always been behind the times, it feels like, with TV.
Well, it just feels like ESPN was there, and it used to fill in some of the blanks, but then over the years they stopped caring. And I actually think this Sunday night baseball thing is fantastic for the sport. I think that YouTube did an amazing job last year, in my opinion. You give some of the games away for free, get people hooked. You know, so I'm excited where it's going, even if it's a challenge. How to find it? By the way, cheap plug for an app that me and my friend worked on called Sports on What. Check out the app on YouTube on iOS and Android. If you have a hard time figuring out where the games are, check out that app. That's a free plug for myself.
Yeah, I think, I mean, I'm not going to throw out the word boomer too often here, but I think that for me was more of a sign of some of the fans who aren't as used to using the internet, aren't as used to using streaming, getting very upset. When for me, I didn't see it as like being that difficult. And, an app like that is a great and very important app for those people that are like, hey, where do I watch this? If they're having trouble typing it into Google or using AI or whatever, there's that app right there that does it all for you. So some people definitely need that. Yeah.
Awesome. Well, we're getting towards the end here. Sounds like you're okay with the 2-2 split. I feel like we left a couple games on on the field there that we could have won, but we'll see going forward. These three games, I'm of the opinion that these three games matter coming up. Every game you win in April is one fewer game that you have to win in September. And this is Cleveland. It looks like they're probably going back to playoffs. Yankees, of course, they're going to playoffs. Let's beat these teams. Any
Yeah.
last words for you?
I just think, for me, the one thing in these four games is body language. Julio and Arozarena kind of misjudged the fly ball or didn't give it to Julio. They collided. They had some argument going on. Arozarena didn't run out to be the ghost runner, forced a free strike onto Donovan for the pitch delay. That kind of screwed over Donovan in that setting, forced him into a strikeout. Something's a little bit off for me in this dugout. We had good vibes only Eugenio in the past, Nelson Cruz, Cano, that a lot of smiles in the dugout. I did not. I don't know if they're trying to be really professional, if that's just the guys we have. Naylor's not smiling all the time.
Right.
Cal, those guys. But I'm missing, for me, the kind of, even if win or lose, that excitement, that ring around in the infield. Like, some of that's kind of missing so far with this team. That's my one thing I'm worried about coming in, is the vibes seem a little bit off to me. And that's kind of what I'm looking at the start of the season.
Right on, right on. Well, as always, we finish off with shout outs. I'm going to go ahead and start it with you, Nathan. Who would you like to give a shout out to this week?
I would like to shout out, I guess, man, that player for UConn that hit that 3-pointer on Duke, beat the evil empire, college basketball edition, just crazy game. Came back from 20. Game was over if the guy held on the ball. He didn't. They stole the ball and he hit a, Steph Curry from the logo 3 to win it. And what a tournament it's been. It's a great time to watch some madness in March.
Right on. Well, I'm going to give a shout out to Brian Solek's dad, who just had a birthday. He's recovering and doing well, it sounds like. So big shout out to him. All right. Well, I want to thank everybody out there for watching us here on YouTube and checking us out on Spotify. Please check out our social media at Seattle Sports U on X and check us out on Facebook. Like, subscribe, all that great stuff. And we'll see you guys next time.
Go Mariners.